Let me say something that's going to make a lot of people on the internet very uncomfortable. Passive income is mostly a lie, not the concept. The concept is real, but the way it's being sold to you on YouTube, on Instagram, in those late-night ads, that version, that's a fantasy. And chasing it the wrong way could actually set you back years. Here's the thing. I've seen people quit their jobs to pursue passive income. They spend $5,000 on courses, burn through their savings, and end up making $47 a month from a dropshipping store they can barely keep alive. That's not passive income. That's a very expensive hobby. But here's what nobody tells you. The math behind real passive income is actually simple. And once you see it clearly, you'll stop chasing the dream and start building the thing. So let's get into it. Imagine you're 28 years old. You're making $55,000 a year. You're not broke, but you're not exactly thriving either. You've seen enough financial content online to know you should be building passive income streams. So you try a few things. Maybe you spend 3 months building a print-on-demand store. Nothing. Maybe you dump money into a high-yield savings account because someone called it passive income. Maybe you buy a $997 course on creating digital products. And 6 months later, you're exhausted, a little poorer, and wondering if you're just bad at this. If this sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. A 2023 survey by Bankrate found that only 23% of Americans have a significant income stream outside of their primary job. That means the other 77% of us are one layoff, one medical bill, one car breakdown away from a real financial crisis. And here's the brutal truth. The median passive income earner in the United States makes less than $500 per month from non-job income sources, according to data from the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances. That's not life-changing money. That's a car payment. So why is there such a massive gap between what's being promised and what people are actually experiencing? Because most of the passive income content out there is designed to sell you something, not to actually help you build something. So let's break this down. First, let's talk about what passive income actually means. Here's the dirty secret. Nothing is passive at the start. Every single income stream requires either time, money, or both up front before it pays you a single dollar. Think of it like planting a fruit tree. You don't just throw a seed in the ground on Monday and pick apples on Tuesday. You dig, you plant, you water, you wait. Sometimes for years. The passive part, where the fruit just shows up, only happens after all the active work. The problem is that social media has cropped out the first 2 years of that process and just shows you the fruit. A rental property doesn't just generate rent. You need capital for a down payment, time to find tenants, energy to manage repairs. A dividend portfolio doesn't just appear. You spend years consistently buying shares before the dividends are meaningful. The insight here isn't that passive income is fake. It's that the passive phase is earned, not given. Once you accept that, everything changes. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Okay, so let's do some actual math, because this is where most people get shocked. Let's say your goal is $2,000 a month in passive income. That sounds reasonable, right? That's the dream most people have. If you're using dividend stocks, which are one of the most legitimate passive income vehicles, the average S&P 500 dividend yield is about 1.3 to 1.5% per year. Let's be generous and say you find a diversified dividend portfolio yielding 4% annually. To generate $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 a year. At a 4% yield, you need $600,000 invested. $600,000. Not $600,000 in income. $600,000 sitting in a brokerage account, invested and working for you before you see that $2,000 check. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't have $600,000. Most people don't. That's the point. The math doesn't lie, but most passive income content won't show you this number because it's not as sexy as make money while you sleep. This doesn't mean it's impossible. It means you need a plan that matches reality, not the highlight reel. But wait, there's more to this. Not all passive income is created equal. Let's talk about the 3 actual buckets that work for regular people, not just people who already have $500,000. Bucket 1, capital heavy. This is what we just talked about. Dividends, REITs, high-yield bonds. You need money to make money here. The good news? If you invest consistently over time, this bucket fills itself. Bucket 2, time heavy. This is where most beginners can actually start. Think digital products, YouTube ad revenue, licensing your photos, writing an ebook. You trade time up front to build an asset. The asset then earns on autopilot. The catch? Most of these take 12 to 24 months before you see meaningful income. Bucket 3, hybrid. Real estate is the classic example. You need some capital for a down payment and sometime manage it. But a well-placed rental property can generate both appreciation and monthly cash flow. According to Redfin, the average United States rental property generates a gross yield between 5 and 8%, though net income after expenses is typically lower. The mistake people make? They jump into bucket 2 thinking it's fast, get frustrated when it isn't, and give up before the asset starts working. The key is picking the right bucket for your current situation. This leads us to the next crucial point. You've heard of compounding, but here's the version they don't show you. Compounding doesn't just work for you. It can work against you if you're starting from the wrong place. Let's say you're putting $400 a month toward passive income, but instead of investing it, you keep dumping it into courses, tools, and platforms chasing that quick win. At a 7% average market return, that $400 a month invested consistently for 20 years turns into over $208,000. That's without a single extra dollar contributed beyond your monthly $400. Now imagine you wasted the first 5 years of that on bad bets. You don't just lose 5 years. You lose the compounding on those 5 years. That delay could cost you $60,000 to $80,000 in future value. Not because you made bad investments, because you made no investment at all. Time is literally the most valuable asset you have in this game, and it's the one thing you can't buy back. You might be wondering, okay, so what should I actually do with my money right now? Here's the part where I lose subscribers because it's not exciting, but it's the truth, and you deserve the truth. The strategy that actually builds real passive income for most people is profoundly boring. It's called consistent, diversified investing, and it looks like this. Max out your employer 401k match first. That's an instant 50 to 100% return on your contribution. Nothing passive beats that. Then build a taxable brokerage account with a mix of index funds and dividend ETFs. Something like VYM or SCHD if you want dividend exposure. Reinvest every dividend. Don't touch it. Vanguard research shows that a diversified index fund investor who stays consistent beats roughly 90% of active investors over a 15-year period. Not because they're smarter, because they're patient. This isn't glamorous. It doesn't make for a great YouTube thumbnail. But for the average person with a regular income and a long time horizon, this is a machine that actually builds wealth. The exciting strategies, rental properties, digital products, starting a content channel, those can layer on top of this foundation. But if you're building on sand, the whole thing collapses. Now, I don't want you walking away thinking passive income is impossible. It's not. I just want you to pursue it intelligently. Here's the truth. Passive income makes the most sense once you've already built some base capital and reduced high-interest debt. Think of it as a second phase of your financial life, not the starting line. If you have credit card debt at 22% interest, paying that off gives you a guaranteed 22% return. No dividend stock on earth beats that consistently. Once that's cleared, then you start stacking passive income layers. A 32-year-old who clears $18,000 in credit card debt builds a $10,000 emergency fund, and then starts investing $600 a month at age 33 will out-earn dramatically someone who started a dropshipping store at 28 and ignored their 401k. The math doesn't care about your hustle. It cares about the order of operations. So what do you actually do with this information? Here are 5 steps starting today. Today, know your numbers. Open a free account on Personal Capital or Empower and connect all your accounts. You cannot build passive income if you don't know what's actually coming in and going out. This takes 20 minutes. 0 excuses. This week, kill high-interest debt first. List every debt you have with its interest rate. Anything above 8% is an emergency. Use the avalanche method. Attack the highest interest rate first. Every dollar paid here is a guaranteed return better than most passive income sources. This month, open or maximize your investment accounts. If you don't have a Roth IRA, open one today. Fidelity and Schwab are both free and take 10 minutes online. Start putting whatever you can afford monthly into a low-cost index fund. $100 a month is fine. $50 is fine. Just start. Over the next 6 months, pick one side stream to build. Not 5. 1. Based on your skills, pick one-time heavy passive income stream, whether that's a digital product, content creation, or licensing something you already create. Commit 6 months before you evaluate whether it's working. Long-term, year 2 and beyond, reinvest everything. Every dollar of passive income you receive, reinvest it. Don't spend it. Not yet. Let it compound. This is a phase where the math starts working for you instead of against you. Most people can't resist spending early gains. The ones who can, they're the ones who actually hit that $2,000 a month milestone. Here's the real takeaway from everything we just covered. Passive income is real, but it's not fast, it's not free, and it doesn't start passive. It's built slowly, deliberately, and with more patience than most people are willing to give it. The people who actually achieve it aren't the ones with the flashiest side hustles. They're the ones who understood the math early, respected the timeline, and played the long game. You now know something that the majority of passive income content will never tell you. Use it. If this video helped you see things differently, hit subscribe. Because every week I break down the real numbers behind personal finance, so you can make decisions based on facts, not hype. Next week, we're talking about the 4% rule and whether it's still safe for early retirement. Because some new research is making financial planners very nervous. You don't want to miss that one. The math doesn't lie. And now, neither do you.